Hey, Megan. Hello.
Hello.
How you going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, really good. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Me too. I missed you guys last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And then it's like a whole month has gone.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yes.
Crazy.
How have you been? Have you been well?
Yeah, I've been okay. Everybody kind of got over their colds quite quickly, so
Good.
that was nice. Meant that Helena had to have a whole week off of school because I couldn't send her back with like the slightest sniffle. But
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It changes, doesn't it? Just one cold can have such a massive connotations to it now.
Yeah, and I knew it was coming because all of the kids in their class had it. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh man.
I was expecting it. Yes. Hey Jenny. Hey Shan. Hi. How wonderful to be back. Well, it's gone through our house now, so I was sick the last couple of days, and Lee's had the coronavirus test because he doesn't want to go to work with the coronavirus. So he's not going anywhere now. So I'm doing all the errands. And Maggie just keeps going. She's missed two in the 4 weeks we've been back at childcare. She's gone twice, and she's missed 2 weeks because she's come home sick from childcare on those days. But she is 1.5, so I can't really blame it on what's happening this year. That's just part of being one and going to.
Oh my gosh, where did that 1.5 years go?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's gone though. We're here. Yes.
It just feels like it's going to be a winter for it, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think it seems like it's extra heightened, because like Arlo's got a runny nose and we would normally go to Bendigo on a Wednesday, but I'm like, oh, I can't really because he's got a runny nose. But if it had been this time last year, we probably still would have gone because he's not terribly sick. He's just got a runny nose, But I think it's just everyone's really, heightened, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. I know. Yes. All right. Are you there, Jenny?
Yes, I'm here.
Cool.
I think I'm just catching up with everyone.
Yeah, so your video's just gone off.
Oh, someone's just trying to ring in. I've been waiting for a call. I told them they had to ring me before 11.
Yeah.
And they've just
called.
Oh, 11:03. They're mad. I'll catch up with them later. That's all right.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So welcome.
We're just selling a house in Bendigo, and that was just the real estate ringing me. I said, well, don't ring me after 11, or you've got to ring. No, I didn't say don't ring me after 11. I said you've got to ring me before 11.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, sorry, I'm here and I'm present, so that's a good thing, and they can wait.
Yes, exactly. Great. Awesome. All right. I might just do a quick just check to see if anyone has messaged me. Because Stella's normally here, but that's right. I know Kerry can't be here. Anyway, we'll keep going. Cool. All right. So yay. Gee, this is week 5 of our six call Sacred Circle holder. So I hope you've enjoyed the process so far. And today is a very practical session. So I really just want to allow today to be an opportunity for you to ask the questions that you have and just to tie up and fine tune your circles. I know some of you are already running your circles, and some of you have got really quite clear plans, detailed plans for when you are going to start your circles. I know some of you are feeling a little bit perhaps overwhelmed. So let's bring all of that here, and it doesn't matter where you are, wherever you are on your journey, that's the most important place. And I want to remind you that the fact that you are here in this course, you are already a Sacred Circle holder. This is just a remembering and basically that you've got everything within you to do this. And I think sometimes perfectionism can get in the way. I know that definitely gets in the way for me all the time. And a lot of self-love and nurturing can really support that. So we will be, I've put in the chat box our Sacred Circle plan. So they're pretty much the details that I want you to be clear on, and any areas that you kind of feel stuck on or you're not sure about, then today is about that. And if you're watching the replay, just make sure that you have the Sacred Circle holder workbook in front of you, which has the Sacred Circle plan that I've put in the chat box for everyone who's here live. And so that's what we're doing. Basically, we want to come out with a clear Sacred Circle plan, so we do feel prepared, and we also want to hold it loosely, because we know that when Sacred Circles begin, they might begin in one place and then they end up somewhere very different. And so we have that simultaneous approach of we're using our left brain and our right brain at the same time. So and that's a part of our role, to be checking the time and being like timekeepers, and helping people to stay on track when it's kind of going too far out there. Sometimes we need to know how to rein it in, but then we also need to make sure that we're not getting in the way of a natural organic flow and an opening to something deeper or something more expansive. And in between that, we love every aspect of ourselves that we are aware of, and we even forgive ourselves when we're not aware of loving ourselves. So there's a whole lot of all of that going on. So welcome. And we'll just open our space and come into our hearts, and then we'll get started. So feel free to close your eyes if that feels good for you, and just taking some deep breaths here. Using your breath, using your sighing, using your out breath as a way of arriving here. Using sound. Almost like you've arrived here in your body for the first time today, and you're dropping into that place where you can just be the watcher of your body being here on the chair. Just allowing all parts of you to arrive here. Not trying to rush this process, just allowing more of you to be here. And just recollecting all parts of you from everywhere else in today and bringing them back here to the chair that you're on. And as you connect in with your sense of weight and density in your body, that magnetizing and pulling to the earth, just start to open your heart now and open up your feet chakras Open up your root chakra, your earth star chakra, if that feels appropriate for you. Just starting to draw in closer to our beautiful Mother Gaia, our mother who holds us and nourishes us and nurtures us with unconditional love. Just allowing yourself to fall into that cocoon and open-hearted embrace of our Mother Gaia. And just let yourself be held by her, where you can let go and just be held just for a few moments here. Where you can let anything that feels heavy wash away or fall away, like anything that is not quite attuned to that high vibration of love. It just slips away as the glow in your heart opens and expands and fills your body and pours out in communion with Gaia. And together, your connection, your light with Gaia just shines brightly, glows, and floods the space around you both. And just staying with how that feels. To be bathing in that natural light of the earth, that natural light of your heart. Nothing to do here. There's nowhere to be. Just bathe in this stillness, which could feel alive right now as well. Now starting to open up this space for everyone in our circle. Connecting in to the hearts of each other in circle, watching that ripple effect of light through our heart space that weaves through the circle. Where you're connected to Chanel and Megan and Jenny and Bronte and Cherie and Stella and Megs and Vicky and Carrie Ann and Raquel. And as we open our hearts and open our hands to each other, hold hands with each other, we create this fiery, magnificent light in the center of our circle with the greatest force of unconditional love, where we can be free, can stand up and be in our power fully as sacred circle holders, where we have the force behind us through the earth, and we are a divine channel of the stars. And we create divine union here on earth as we combine both earth and stars, through our hearts. In this sacred space that we create together and always is one built and founded upon love without conditions, where we are safe to be ourselves, we're safe to be free and move and dance and express ourselves fully and authentically, where there is no judgment and it's safe to love ourselves and love each other. And starting to let that energy build through your body, this power, this force that ripples through our circle and through the earth, through the sky, as it connects into this force, this channel of light through our bodies and through the center of our circle, as we drink in this powerful force of light that awakens us as empowered, certain, confident, capable sacred circle holders. Start to surrender to this process, this role. Just letting go, welcoming this force to fill your whole body, so you accept this fully. Just allowing yourself to watch the changes, the shifts throughout your body. Hina, shinaya kinamasanaya taihina. Kokoina mamai shinia taihina manadai shia papai hina. Kandi shinia taihina madai shite papoi hina. Kandi shinia mamoi kina taihina mai shite eada. Huina mai shinia taihina mamai shite akana shite papoi hina. Kandai shina taihina masinia.
Bronte, you're muted.
Now it's coming back to placing your hands on your heart. And giving thanks to this opportunity to fully embrace and embody this role as sacred circle holder. And starting to deepen your breath, move your body, and open your eyes when you're ready. I don't know what happened there. I heard someone come in. Did I leave and come back in? Okay. That's funny. All right. So you can all take your yourselves off mute.
Mercury retrograde stuff, maybe, is what it
Yeah.
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Beautiful. I have no idea what you heard and what you didn't hear. But what I
It's all perfect.
okay.
Yeah, I think we got most of it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So let's have a check-in. How are you in this moment? How are you feeling? Yeah, let's just stay with that first. How are you feeling in this moment?
Okay, I'll go. So how am I feeling in this moment? I'm feeling very grateful because Arlo went to sleep about 10 minutes to 11. So I'm feeling quite grateful that I have a little bit of my space here to breathe.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Thanks, Shan.
And cold. I'm feeling cold. Just on a physical level.
You're looking rugged up there, Chanel.
I am. I'm feeling really cold.
Well, I'll send you some of my warmth because I'm feeling cozy and warm. I just put a great big log on the fire, and I've had a session with been down and done a massage already this morning, so I'm all warmed up and ready to go. And yeah, really looking forward to putting the Sacred Circle things into practice. It's been a bit crazy busy, as everyone has been. So I've just sort of had a little bit of probably not disconnect, but like in and out of working with the workbook and things. But yeah, it's all coming together. So I'm feeling really positive with that, really. And I think sometimes it's a bit like cooking soup. You just have to put a lot of things into it and then see what you need to add and move around at the end. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with it. So
Awesome.
thanks.
Thanks, Jenny.
Oh, I'm back.
Yeah, you're back.
Sorry, somebody tried to call me. I'm feeling really excited and energized today. Wednesday is now my me day because Helena's at school and Connie's in at daycare. So this morning was fantastic. I got to do some baking. It's Helena's birthday tomorrow, so I'm working on her cake. And I got to just crank up my tunes in the kitchen, have a little boogie while I was baking. My cakes have all turned out fantastic. And I'm really excited to dive in and see how my circle's coming through with you guys.
Beautiful. Excellent. Good. All right. I see now the chat box is empty because I must have left. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So how am I feeling? I'm feeling really grateful to be here with you all, and I feel there's something, I can just feel it in my heart. It's like an outpouring of love, really, just to be here with you, and it just feels really lovely. Just feels really good. Yeah. So what I'll do is I will put the Sacred Circle plan back in the chat box just so we've got it. And I'm just going to get rid of that bit. So let's have a look at it. So the Sacred Circle plan. So we'll just run through what you need. And I guess, this is the really practical aspect. The last couple of calls have really kind of been diving into the sacred leadership skills. And I know what you mean, Jenny. It is kind of like cooking, where you need all the bits, and it's like we've got all the ingredients out, and now it's about implementing and pretty much just doing it. And learn, the integration comes in with practice. So Shan, I know that you're running your series of circles, so perhaps you might want to share with us how that has been to kind of incorporate it or practice the skills that we've been kind of delving into over the time of the course, and how that's been, over a period of time, because you do just get to a point where you've got so much information, and yes, Jenny, it can feel overwhelming. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so many aspects to holding a circle. But when you actually practice and you have the experience of holding a sacred circle, then they just start to drop in more and more, and it becomes more of a natural weaving effect of all of these, and what to pick up and what to put down at the time in quite a divine way. So Shan, did you want to let us know how you're going, if you have any questions or parts that you kind of feel stuck with?
Yeah, so I don't know, it's kind of a question as well as something that I found on the last, so I've had 2 circles so far from this series, and on the last one I was really challenged. So they're on a Sunday night. I was really challenged Friday and Saturday and even a bit of Sunday about just where I was at, just with my own life stuff happening. So I was really feeling like I just wanted to run. I wanted to cancel the circle. I just was feeling really overwhelmed, and how can I hold this space for others if I'm falling apart?
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of a question of how, when you just don't feel like it, what you do. And then in that, like, I'd love to know your feedback on that question. And in that, though, I did find peace that I'm not there to solve everyone's problem. I'm just there to hold that space for people. So I did learn a lot from that one just gone.
Yeah. So you learnt a lot from actually doing it and going ahead with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think a lot of thought can be put into it for sure. But it is absolutely in the just jumping in and giving it a go, because I think that's the beautiful, beautiful part about a sacred circle, is that we as facilitators aren't there to solve whatever's going on for the participants. And I think, like, that's the beautiful part to a sacred circle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I love that you just surrendered to that. And
I really did.
Yeah. And that's a huge achievement, really, to be able to put yourself into running a circle and not really feeling up to it at all. And I think that I'm not surprised that you kind of came out having that realization that, that's right, I don't actually have to be on, and I don't have to be upbeat, and I don't have to have it all together. So that's a beautiful realization. And what I would say, like, I've definitely been in those situations, and I'm like, I can't be bothered. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Should I cancel it? Am I going to let people down? Then there's this whole other spiral of stories. And one thing that sticks in my head is advice I got about motherhood, but I apply this to a lot of areas of my life, and it's a picture of a teddy bear with a bear bum. And so it's basically symbolizing bring it back to basics. So you strip it bare. And so if I'm just hanging on by a thread to keep myself together, and I'm about to hold space, if I'm about to hold a circle, I go to what I need. Stella's coming in now. I go to what I need. So what do I need? And then that's what I offer in the circle. I'm basically fueling me with my own medicine. So if and generally when I'm struggling, I need it to be soft, and I need it to be nurturing, and I need it to be loving, and I need it to be gentle. And so really, you know, like using rose quartz and using kind of love and angels, or that soft and gentleness of Mother Earth, being held by Mother. All of those aspects are what I need. And we all know that we attract, hey Stella, we all know that we attract those people who are quite surprisingly sometimes going through the same stuff. So you'll find, if you haven't already, then in your circles you'll find themes where there's a common thread through it. And so a lot of us are having similar experiences. And if we can't relate to it right now, we have related to it in the past, and we know where that person is. It's like even the circle holder. We all know what it's like to feel like we're falling apart, or it's coming up. And you know, how we've all had that experience where we've heard something, you know, we've received some kind of guidance or got some clarity or insight out around falling apart, and then 2 weeks later we're in that position and we're like, oh, hang on, we were just talking about this 2 weeks ago. So you're planting, you know, for those people who aren't quite in it, they're going to gain from it. And I think the depth is lost when we're trying, and I've seen this happen with marketing, you know, when you're running your own business, you lose your depth when you're trying to work out what the problem is for other people. But when you stay with yourself, it's real, and it's deeper, and it's closer, and you can feel it more. So when you stay with Stella, we're just talking about when we feel like we're falling apart ourselves, and we're going to hold a circle, and we're thinking, oh, should we cancel it or should we go ahead with it? Am I being irresponsible by holding space where I can't get myself together? Which are simply words, but that is a very real reality. We actually feel like we are falling apart. So yeah, the essence is to drop it back. So it doesn't have to be extravagant. You know, if you're feeling low in energy, you don't have to do this wild, you know, like I was in circle on Monday night with no energy, and I felt this I felt like I had to smile and be supportive for other people, but I didn't have the energy. And it felt really nourishing and nurturing for me to just be in circle and just watch without smiling, because I didn't even have the energy to smile. I was that tired. So just watching, you know, if you feel like you're pushing, then it's running from fear. It's being driven, that behavior is being driven by a fear that you're not doing enough. So dropping back into just allowing yourself to be exactly how you are. And then, yeah, I would be just all of the practices and rituals that the circle is themed around is around you and your needs. And that doesn't mean that you don't have to say, I'm feeling shit and we're just going to do what I need to do. You can generalize and say, look, you know, sometimes we just feel really beaten up, and sometimes we just feel like it's so hard to keep one foot in front of the other. And I found this practice to be really beautiful and nurturing at that time. And you know, you can open up the space and say, have you been feeling like this recently? Or you can even open up the space and ask everyone to share what has been nurturing for them in that time when they've been falling apart. And then this beautiful exploration can come from what falling apart means, you know, where we start to lift it and uncover it and look at it and see it for what it is. And that just gives such beautiful permission, you know, to each other, that mask that we have to pretend that we're good, that can all just fall away, and then we can have that freedom to be us.
That's really awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah. And then the other side of that is, you know, if it's so hard, if it's so much, maybe the most loving thing that you can do is to cancel it.
Yeah, so like really checking in whether it's fear cancelling or actual love cancelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know you've mentioned it another time before about as a facilitator, we're on the ground with the participants. How far do you go? And sorry if we've already covered this, but how far do you go if with sharing from a facilitator's perspective? How far do you go in being on the ground level?
Yeah, sure. What are you most afraid of with sharing? What's the worst thing that could happen with you sharing, in terms of sharing too much?
That people feel like I'm falling apart, so how can I hold them?
Yeah. 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 I know that one. So that happened to me on a retreat last year, where I just broke down in circle, and I had these stories around, you're not really doing your job here. You should be energetically being conscious of the space. You should be checking to see that everyone else is okay. In that moment, what I was doing was I was checking in intuitively and checking in, you know, to see what my guidance was saying. Can I do this? Can I just keep crying? Is this okay? And the guidance was just allow it, just let it.
Yeah.
And that brought a deeper understanding for me around what holding space is, because in the past I have been clinging on to everybody else in circle, just hoping they're okay, and like trying to make them okay, whereas the truth is I have no control over whether they're okay or not. And there was for me personally and professionally, personally I got the release that I needed. Professionally, it broke more barriers down, even more barriers. So yes, we will have those stories, and it's that, again, that simultaneous process, practice of being able to be with our emotions and what's here, noticing the stories, and then tuning into the heart. So you're doing all of that at once.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's really awesome. It's like trusting and being authentically truthful, isn't it? If I'm not trying to hide what's going on in my world at that moment in time, I'm cool. Yeah, thank you.
That's okay. And then so you've got the guidelines to back you up. So that's why you have the guidelines at the start, right? So you've already laid the foundation. This is a non-judgmental place and space. and you've already laid the foundation that you're a part of this circle. So that is the container. The container is already set, which means that you can let go, that you don't have to be checking. And then once your emotions have passed, then you can go back and check. You can check, you can be quite fearlessly looking to see with interest, okay, how is everyone? How are they traveling now? How are they feeling? And we all know that we can do that with so much more clarity when we've allowed our own stuff to be here. You can actually just, I would be asking the question, I'd be checking in, similar to what I did just today at the start of the call. I just wanted to know where everyone was. So, you can just throw in a check-in wherever. If you're feeling detached or disconnected from your people in your circle, then just ask them. Just say, look, I just love a quick round of check-ins just to see how you're feeling. You could say, a lot has just happened, acknowledge it. A lot has just come up for me or in this space. Let's just have a check-in to see how you're feeling. And often there's so much insight that comes from your participants just witnessing what's transpired.
And sometimes it might be one of the participants that's going through that, and allowing them not to feel like they're taking up too much time, or that they don't want it to be all about them and they're trying to stop, and to allow them to continue in that space, because that, you're right, the lesson is there for everyone. And then I really like that when you say the important is to check in, because that takes the onus off the participant as well, whether it be the facilitator or a participant. It takes the onus off them, if that makes sense, or takes the spotlight off them. It just shares that load with them. I think that, I love that technique. It's good.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I like that too, Jenny. It does. It eases it for if someone has had a strong emotion, and they might be feeling like, oh, all of the eyes are on me. Yeah, you can use that approach just to soften it and bring it back to equilibrium across the circle. But I also do love that idea around time, so again, coming back to the guidelines. So if you're feeling like, oh, but if I let go and it's all about me as the sacred circle holder, am I just taking it? You might have a fear around, oh, I'm just taking up everyone else's time and everyone else is here for them. They're not here for me. Then you can check back into your own guidelines. Are you being mindful of the time for everyone? If you've spent the whole half an hour bawling, then there's a lack of mindfulness around the time. So we're being present with ourselves, and we're being aware of the collective as well. Yeah. Similar to when I bawled my eyes out on retreat last year, as the sacred circle holder, I was crying, and I was aware of the collective, checking in to see, was this okay from my heart? Yeah, but I think I've spoken about this too, that it's you're modeling. As you cry, you're modeling for others. This is how you can be seen. This is how you can be witnessed. This is how to let go. You're doing it from a very, we can all talk about being authentic and open, but it is experiential. That's what sacred circles are. It's experiential. We're real people with real emotions, with real relationships with each other, inside and outside of circle. There are real triggers. So we're doing some deep work. Great questions. So Stella, we're fine tuning. We're tying up loose ends. In the chat box, I've put the sacred circle plan. So moving forward, I'd like you all to hold a sacred circle in the next 2 weeks. So I want you to hold your sacred circle online or in person. If it's online, then invite me so I can come and give you some constructive feedback. Aiming for a minimum of 4 people, including you, in circle. So you've got enough variety of people. And I'm sure that may have brought some fears up.
I have a question around that, Bronte.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been feeling a bit of a call to hold a free circle anyway. So when you said to do this one within the next 2 weeks, I thought, okay, that's perfect, because then I'd love if you could come along to it and offer some feedback, and that would be amazing. So I feel like there's a lot of people out there that it's like they're on the edge. They want to experience it, but they're scared to experience it. So what are your thoughts about putting a free circle out there with the intention for people who are on the sitting on the fence? Is that a good idea? Or like, part of me kind of thinks then, oh gee, is that then allowing people to come in with their analytical eye of, oh, is this for me or isn't it for me? But I guess that's what they're doing, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's what we did when we first started, and we've got our defences up. We're not sure. We're out of our comfort zone. We're checking in to see whether this is for us or not. We're like bowing out if it's no good. That's yeah, I think it's wonderful. I think it's great. There are so many people that do want to. Oh, is it not there, Stella? Maybe because I'll just pop it in again. There's a definite market for that, because did you get it, Stella? Yep. There's a definite market for that, and it's bridging the gap, isn't it? But for kind of those people who I would just put them in the mainstream community, people who are curious but are a bit scared. Yeah, absolutely. And so you market it that way. So they're the problems. They're the things that they're struggling with. So yeah, I would say, if you've always been interested in being in a circle but a bit frightened or a bit scared.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. Yeah, cool.
We're not
Thank
sure
you.
if it's for you. Yeah. And then you speak about the very, really just have it down to basics. Drop it down to basics. Make it kind of introductory as possible. So you're creating a safe place for people who are new to being in a circle.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you.
Lovely. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, guys, so jump in. Questions? And perhaps telling me, what is your plan? Have you planned a one-off or a series? Megan, it looks like you're ready to go.
Sure.
What is your plan?
So my circles are based around the concepts of self-worth and self-value, because I've been finding in my sessions with my clients over the last 6 months that self-worth has been an absolute huge kind of thing that keeps coming up. So I've kind of broken it down into four separate keys to work towards self-worth. So the first one is really about getting to that place of grounding and safety, and I was just going to offer that as a free circle, and then if people enjoyed that, they could pay to do the 3 circles afterwards.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful format. That's great.
Yeah. So we've just got the things that I've kind of put in there are sort of like a meditative visualization about grounding into your Earth Star chakra, and how we bring that back up into our heart space and expand that with our grounding. And then with the safety, I'm actually focusing on the kidney and bladder meridians, because those are the pathways where we hold that fear and anxiety and stuff we need to release about feeling safe. So I've incorporated a bit of a journey around those using some tuning forks and wind chimes and stuff like that. I guess the only thing I'm worried about is it seems to be quite structured. So I loved what you were saying about really opening up that space to check in along the way, because I think that was the thing that was coming up for me. It was like, what if people don't want to share? But I think just by turning that around and turning it into a check-in rather than a sharing, it really puts it puts a different emphasis on that, and it really opens it up for discussion and conversation.
Yep. Yeah, it can. That's right. Yeah. So if you're kind of asking them to be really expressive about what's, about around their share, people can feel nervous. Yeah. So if you do ask a simple question like, how are you feeling? How are you feeling after that tuning fork session? That definitely can open the space. Yeah. I guess my question would be, what if no one wanted to share in your circle? What would the worst be?
This is something that I've been toying with, and I've decided that if it comes down to that, it means that I share first. So I share my experiences, what's been coming up for me, how I'm feeling in the moment, and how I can relate what we're doing into that situation.
Yep. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've never been to anything that people don't end up sharing. Like, obviously there are the odd times where people don't want to share, or there are particular people who choose not to share. But I've never been to anything that no one shares. And I guess what I would say to that is, sometimes we are not explicit enough with our invitation for sharing. So if we've just kind of quickly gone over it in the fear that no one's going to share, we haven't actually created the pause or the stillness, just where you're not having any talking. I'm not sure if I shared this, but in terms of teaching, when you ask an open-ended question, you need to wait at least 3 seconds for children to process the question. So it may look like it looks like no one wants to share, but actually everyone's formulating what they want to say. So just being aware of that. So, but I like that too. Yeah, just being open to sharing yourself so others share. And I think
I think it's also about being okay to sit in that uncomfortable silence, waiting for somebody to pick up the talking stick as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just coming into your own body and watching. I can feel some energy in my legs right now, and my abdomen is tightening as I'm sitting here looking at all of the people who are looking at me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, welcoming that into the space as well. Yeah, beautiful. And I don't think it's too structured. I think it's you know, I think generally what happens is that well, this has been my experience, that you have lots of planned detail, and then over time you relax a little bit more, so less needs to be planned. And I think the more you get comfortable with those open spaces where natural inspiration can be born. So I think as long as you've got the structure, in between the structure, as long as you've got some space for some sharing, then that's a wonderful place to start.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. It sounds really interesting.
I'm so excited. Like it's sort of all only downloaded over the weekend because I'd been toying with it, and it's written into my guidelines and what I wanted to bring to Circle. But it was only over the weekend that these 4 kind of keys really just came in and settled and let me expand on them. So,
Wonderful. Awesome. So what's the date of your first circle?
I'm thinking at the moment I'm going to do it next Thursday. I was looking at doing it in the morning, sort of 10:30 a.m., but I am aware that it's school holidays, so I'm not sure if it would be better to perhaps move it to like 8 o'clock at night or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Parents can also put like 2 on at that time of the morning.
Yeah, so maybe
like, it can be okay too.
Yeah, so I think I pulled some cards around it, and next Thursday at 10:30 came up with the 3 of Cups, and I'm like, well, if that's not a circle, I don't know what is, so let's go with that.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
I'd love to come along, Megan. It sounds beautiful.
Oh, fantastic. I'd love to have you.
So there you go. You've got your first participant.
I've got one. Yay.
Awesome. What's today? Wednesday. Yeah, so I can come too.
Oh my gosh, I've got 2.
Yay.
Fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful. Excellent. So when you know the details of the time, when it's going to be, then pop it in our Facebook group, and so I know when it is, and and you can invite anyone as well. And it can be paid or it can be free. It's up to you.
No, I was thinking I was going to definitely do the first one free, just so people can get a taste of what it's like moving forward, and then if they want to stay on.
So you can do Tuning Forks online over.
Mm-hmm.
How amazing.
Yeah, I've been doing live sessions in my private Facebook group since we've been in isolation. So the Tuning Forks, the wind chimes, all of the music stuff transfers beautifully onto the online space. So yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
Awesome. Well done, Megan. And
Thank
I love
you.
how it's just divinely come, it's just downloaded at the right time. It's beautiful. Excellent.
Oh, I'm so excited. I just want to get it all happening now.
Yeah, so good. Well done. Good. Jenny, how are you going? Would you like to share?
Yeah, I'm happy to share. Probably my biggest fear was the Zoom platform. And one of our friends had organised a Zoom education session, I suppose, over the last couple of weeks. And that's been really helpful because it sort of allayed my fears about, like turning people on, mute, off, all those sort of things, practice things. And actually, in the course of that, then we had to say how we were going to use that Zoom platform. And so my thing to workshop was the circles. So I was able to workshop that as well. So that was really helpful. But in doing that, the first week went well because I was by myself and I had plenty of time, space, brain space. The second week, I was babysitting from my daughter in Bendigo, and I ended up feeling like the mothers do on their thing, because I was babysitting the kids, the Zoom was going, I was part of the meeting, but they were welcome to that because it was a good learning experience for the others to have someone who was a naughty student in the class that was disruptive and, how to mute and unmute. But also, for me, it gave me the experience of that they were happy to hold that space for me, because that could be something that they would come across in meetings if they're holding like school meetings and things like that on Zoom, how they would interact. And that was part of their worries, that they were worried that people would not come because of the children, whereas they wanted the most participants. So they wanted people to experience that so that they could feel that they could just mute themselves and still listen and not be disruptive, and how to put up the little picture up the back. Like last week I had the TP, but I don't even know how that come, and I don't even know where it was from, but that just happened on here. So that was part of that, and setting things like just some little pointers that I really enjoyed. Like I felt like I was the parent, actually. So then out of that come my duality, which is my healing business and work, but also my job as a maternal and child health nurse. So part of that was breaking down the fear of doing the mothers groups online because of the COVID. We hadn't had our mothers groups, and we hadn't had that interaction. And as clinicians, we didn't have the skills to do that. And we have this platform called Pexip which is at work, and it's just clunky and whatever. So by doing the Zoom lessons, it sort of helped allay the fears of mine. Also created a bridge to connect with the mothers. And then by accident, I actually got to experience what it's like with a mother to put on whatever shows on at 10 o'clock in the morning, which was a good pointer, Chanel, to let me know, what time suits the mums when they can have that, half an hour. And it would only be half an hour. It wouldn't be an hour, because that would be too long. Just unpacking all of those sort of things, what sort of topics, and just opening up with not having to solve their problems for them, which is like what you said, that we don't actually have to solve people's problems, that it just gives them somewhere where we hold space. And also those mums would be feeling isolated. So just starting off with sleep issues was pretty safe, because everyone has sleep issues, whether they were lack of sleep, sleep times, all of those sort of things. So that was like that duality for me. So the mothers group, to surrender to that. And the other part that I've decided that I'll do for my circle for here will just be a one-off circle in my TP with our group that we used to gather before the COVID. So we're still able to do that. So I'll just have like 4 or 5 people. And yeah, I was going to do it around the moon, but like that, we're sort of like between the two in the next 2 weeks. So yeah, I think I'll just do that and just go with the flow of that, and have the topic a little bit like Megan said, to have the introduction to circles. What are circles all about? What is ceremony all about? Just setting the scene, setting the mood, getting people to experience something that they've not experienced before.
Yeah, beautiful.
And yeah, in our little community, there's a lot of people that have a lot of interest and that come to us at the Wellbeing Centre for different treatments and modalities. But I think the circle encourages people to take ownership for their own healing.
Yep.
And it allows them to unpack things and explore, and also experience in that group setting what other people might have. They might be triggers, or they might have something that they wanted to share that might help with the whole group. And like you said, that vulnerability is a lesson in itself. Yep. So around all that, I think probably part of my block had been where to start and what to do, because I had just so much going on. But I think now I've just like written down the 3 columns and the same sort of processes are in the same 3 groups, like the mothers group from work, a community group, which would be a paid circle for a set amount of time, and then the one-off circle, which is an introduction, which I might have more than just one of that through the space of the year, because there'll be different people coming and going. And once it's a little bit like a you know, the ripple effect, that other people will say, oh, I went to the circle, it was really good. That's my intention, that they would say that. And then they would like to come for the next one. So you might have, totally different people who may not even mix in that same social group within a small community. But it also breaks down those barriers of people feeling, isolated, that no one else is a little bit hippie or a little bit spiritual or a little bit whatever, a little bit of whatever.
Absolutely.
So my opening line was for people to go around and say, by coming to the circle tonight, my family thought I was a little bit something. So a little bit, they'll have lots of words for that.
That's so good.
That was mine. So thank you.
Thank
you for holding space.
No, you're welcome. And I'm glad that you got clarity, because you've got kind of different pies, and where you're utilizing these skills. So it's nice to have some kind of clarity on the differences.
Or not.
or not. Yeah.
But it's like the cake, everything's there, the ingredients, I can see it all laid out now.
100%.
So, and that is the clarity of that. It's just gathering those individual elements for each one, but keeping them separate, but realizing that they're all the same.
Exactly. And you've got it all here. So you just grabbing a bit of that and a bit of that and a bit of that for this. And I love that you're bringing it right back to basics as well. Like just that experience, just that creating that opportunity for people to experience a circle is enough. There's so much in that. So slowing things down, so we're not getting somewhere, we're helping people to come to the actual experience they're having right now, because we're so driven to, okay, we're doing this circle to get somewhere, we're doing this workshop to get somewhere, we're doing this course to get somewhere, but actually there's so much benefit, there's so much gift, there's a gift in just coming back to being here in this experiencing circle.
And holding space for people is sometimes a new experience for people, like they just want to jump in and fix things. And we probably all have been guilty of that at some stage, but sometimes we can't do that. So just even learning to sit back and hold space and knowing that that's valuable. Knowing that that's valuable. So I think that would be the theme for that first.
Yes.
Holding space is valuable.
100%. And we're also rewiring how we relate to each other. So I love that you're creating a journey for these people to learn these techniques, because we are so used to fixing other people. So having that as part of the theme and the topic is relevant and valuable. One thing I want to say about the fixing and the solving, there will be people who will come to Circle and they'll want answers. And you have answers. So it's okay to teach different methods or techniques or practices. It's different to if someone's shared their experience and then you just slam them down with, you need to do this. We're moving away from that, and I know that you understand that. But then so what they're doing is they're coming with their experience, and then they're sharing exactly where they are. We're, first of all, number one, we're allowing that. And then you might feel it to be appropriate after some space to say, are you looking for some support here? Are you interested in something that has helped me when I was in that situation? So it's that real tender, you're just basically putting your hand out, and they may take it or they may not. And in that question, we're basically asking them if they want help, and they can say yes or no. We're not just giving them help without them asking. So but we do that lightly. It's not the priority. It's not the primary part of circle. But it doesn't mean that it has to be severed. You know, we can, especially when those people are looking for something. Some people are looking. They're like, help me. What do I do? What can I do? I'm stuck. I need something. Yeah.
The topic was going to be seekers and savers.
Oh, love. So, yeah, so good. Oh, I love the depth of what you're all creating. I feel so proud and pleased right now. Yeah, it's really cool. Thank you for allowing me to witness your process of creations. It's a real gift. Thank you. Stella, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Your hair is just flowing.
Thanks.
You look beautiful.
I finally had it done. Well, mine originally, when I got started, was going to be about whatever I was feeling at the time. But I'm going to do a free one as like an introduction. And this is actually going to play well because I've just started an online course with 6 students that are all clients of mine. So they're all in my area. And because we do everything online, I'm actually going to do this in my shop in here. So this will be a bit of bonding time for all of us together as well, which will be really good. And I'm going to do it on angels, because we're currently studying that in the course. So it'll be like a bit of an introduction to sacred circles for them, but it'll also be about archangels really. So it'll be about archangels as well. So I will have, I've got to try and not overload it because I have a lot that I like to give. And I always fill everything that I do to the maximum and tend to overwhelm sometimes people. So I've got to remember to pull it back a bit. So I'm going to write it out really thinly and then just slowly add a little tiny bit here and there where I feel I've got the room for. So doing a circle as a one-day thing, what's the duration of them? How long do they generally go for?
Circles?
Yeah.
Well, I'd say probably at least an hour and a half to probably 3 hours.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that gives
I
me
reckon
the-
anything longer than that, it's like a half-day retreat or a day retreat. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could call it a whole day circle. You could do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know though. I reckon anything beyond 3 hours, you have a break, and I don't reckon. I think it morphs into a different experience if it's beyond 3 hours.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd have to be about something substantial to be any longer than that, the subject matter. So, yeah, I'd probably go a couple of hours maybe.
Yeah. And the
Right.
integration time is part of it too. So,
Yes.
like you drop things in for them and then they have the whole week or next week to continue their exploration and inquiry.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love that realization that you have, to pull back so you're not overwhelming them. That's big.
Yeah, there's a lot of time I tend to do that.
Yeah.
I have so much that I like to offer. I can tend to go a little overboard sometimes.
What's the thing that drives you, Stella, to put more and more in there?
I'm a giver naturally, so I guess I just like to give as much as I can. I like people to know what I know, to be able to have the feelings and the experiences that I have. And I know not everyone's going to have that because we're all different, but even if they get to have their version of it, and if I can make it as pleasant as possible, then that's what I like to do.
Yep.
A lot of people tell me they've been to other places for things and it's not been a nice experience. So I guess that's where I come from. I like to try and make it my version of it as nice as possible for them.
Yep.
And memorable.
Yep. Have you had feedback to say that it's overwhelming?
No, but I've seen it in their faces.
Okay. Yep.
And in their replies, in what they've said after.
Yep.
Has not been that straight out, but what they've come back with has been like, okay, that was a little too much.
Yeah. Great awareness. Yep. The other thing is to Stella that you're working with a high vibrational energy, so it's not just the content.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's almost like the higher energy work that you're doing. The even more, or even there's even more need. There's need for even more space for that.
Yep.
To be in. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll work on getting them together next Saturday.
Cool. Awesome. So for those people who I can't attend, I'd love it if you could write me a like a self-reflection on how your retreat was, so I can have a read.
Sure.
Yeah. Actually, have I put that? I don't think I've put any kind of self-reflection in there. No, I need to add that. I might add that. because that's important. I'll put it in the workbook. I'll add it to the workbook. So especially just as you get started, just to have a think about, you know, how it felt for you, any parts that you felt triggered by, any parts that kind of you didn't know what to do or you felt stuck, and any parts that you would change if you did it again. Yep. Cool. All right. Any other questions?
Would it help, Bronte, with that feedback if some of the participants, like I'd thought at the end of mine, I might just give them a little card to write something on that they got out of it, like what they felt they, you know, what they enjoyed the most or what they learnt, or I haven't really got that, but I just thought I felt like for this purpose, probably not the others, but to have a little feedback, just a little card that they could even just write one word on, finishing up at the end of the session.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and that's related to their experience. I wouldn't be asking your participants to rate how you were as a
Oh, no.
I know you didn't mean that. Yeah, just wanted to clarify that.
That'd be good though.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm there for. So
yeah.
If you want that, then hold an online circle so I can join in the next.
Yeah, I'll join you into my mum's one.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that's wonderful, because like how valuable is that, just to have that contemplation time where you can just have a think about what was the most valuable part to that circle. It just deepens the experience, you know, when we're given that space to contemplate. You know, a lot of my one-on-one sessions are spent in quiet, in stillness, where I'm just allowing my clients to feel how it feels to be in this moment in their body, you know. And we just don't get that unless we create that for ourselves, but most of us are not doing that. So just having those really quiet moments of contemplation, reflection, journaling, stillness, meditation, quiet, all of that. There's so much, there's a real richness to that. Just even feeling, you know, noticing how that feels to have whatever your practice is that you've brought in or ritual you've brought in, just inviting them to just to rest in how that feels, you know. So they're soaking it up. So you're not, you know, right, we've done that, let's go on to the next thing. You know, we're soaking it up. So less is more. Yeah. Yeah, and soon enough you'll all be feeling so comfortable in stillness, which is just lovely. And then movement's great too. You know, I'm not sure if I think I've spoken about, you know, the combination of stillness and movement. Movement can be just a wonderful release. Yep. Very good. Okay. Any final questions or comments? Okay. So in one word, how would you like to feel facilitating your sacred circle in the next 2 weeks?
Calm is mine as well. Just tune down my excitement a little bit, so that I can have that
Yeah.
space with you.
Yep.
Certain comes up for me. Yeah.
And Jenny?
I'm prepared, I think.
Mm-hmm.
As I sit here, I've got like the bits of paper, all that we've been talking about today, going round and round. I think it's time for some quiet time just to let it settle. And like even having downloads and things that I've written on my phone that when I've been driving, I've actually had to stop on the side of the road, quickly put it in my phone, and then like today is my day, I'll go back over that and put it in my workbook that I've been using. So like sort of preparing everything. So that would be my word.
Just beautiful.
So thank you for that.
You're welcome. I just feel so overjoyed right now. It's just such a blessing. Thank you. Wonderful. All right. So if you're watching the replay, then come into the Facebook group and share what your intention is, what your circle looks like, just as everyone has shared here on the call. And I want to know where you're at, but it also really gives you clarity to speak on what your circle is. And so this is it. So I'm sending you all off to hold your circles over the next 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks' time, we really want to celebrate, and use our reflections as a means to moving forward as embodied, competent, confident, certain, calm, prepared, sacred circle holders. Yay! Maybe we should bring champagne for the next one.
Yes.
All good.
Awesome. All right, let's close our space. Just taking some deep breaths in through your nostrils and out through your mouth. Just allowing all of your energy to drain down into the bottoms of your feet so you can connect into Gaia, and then watching and allowing that raising of consciousness from Gaia feed up through your feet. Enliven your legs, renew your thighs, and stretch across your abdomen, massage your bottom, and spine up across your back, over your shoulders, across your chest, supporting and holding, nurturing your vital organs, and letting this renewed energy ripple down through your arms and pull in your hands, stretching and allowing those vines of light come through your fingertips. And stretching your head and neck and allowing that renewed, resourceful, inspired energy come through your neck and your head, out through your ears and your head. So you feel connected to Father Sky and Mother Earth, with your arms outstretched and your heart open, and giving thanks and blessings to each other in circle as we celebrate and rejoice ourselves and each other as sacred circle holders. We finally arrived, we're here. It's so exciting. We get to receive our full selves as sacred circle holders. And thank you, thank you, thank you. With your hands at prayer position. And with your hands at your third eye. Bowing in deep gratitude. The hands at your lips. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Opening your eyes when you're ready. Thank you, lovelies. I look forward to your circles, so make sure you let us know when they are. Tag me in them, please, so I get a notification, and I'll see you then.
Thanks, Rhonda. Thanks,
Bye.
girls.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.